I do have a story. Me first, because mine's short. Not only on my Bluetooth headphones did I lose the fucking hook that, like...
Is this your story?
Yes. I hate both of you so much.
Start the podcast for real first.
Yeah, I was like, why are you doing it now?
What are you doing?
Did we not already start?
No!
God damn. I hate you guys.
We're starting there. Little run. Oh, there, now it started.
No, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna leave. If you spit your fucking drink at me at some point, I will stab you.
What's your story?
Can I tell it now?
Yeah, go.
So, my fucking Bluetooth headphones that I absolutely love, I've lost the damn hook that keeps them in your ear, the little thing that slides in.
The thing that it is?
Yeah, and not only did I fucking lose that yesterday, somehow I lost the earbud.
Jesus.
On the same damn thing, and I can't find the fucking replacements.
The little rubber... Wow. We're talking breakfast here. Fuck!
Sorry, Bill's got his mouth full right now. Once the large oiled up men leave, he'll be fine.
For all of our viewers that don't recognize that voice.
Speaking of viewers, yeah, this isn't a video podcast, by the way, Derek. Remember how I said it was going to be, and then it wasn't. I decided that didn't make sense to have like I do want supplemental video material, but not like within the podcast, because then we have to split out the audio later.
Yeah.
I just didn't want you to be in the video.
All right, fair enough.
Jesus, fucking Star Wars burping ass.
God, bleep that out. That's obscene.
Oh, I am also going to give you a good amount of practicing on bleeping out names today.
Okay. Just use
that sounds mean. So,
this thing is to come out Monday.
Are we just gonna leave people wondering who I am, or?
Well, I was trying to introduce you.
Introduce you guys. Okay, so now we're starting for real. Now. Who wants to do
a little bit later? Cause
who wants to do the?
Who
wants to do the?
I just saw your sister's Facebook post. She's with this girl, and I didn't even get to read it because fucking pieces of shit.
You know, I send her the podcast link. She will eventually hear you talk.
I said we're not starting now. This bitch peed on the bed.
Anyway, mark that as a spot to cut out some silence.
We can start now.
Welcome to the Always Wrong podcast. I think we're on episode 4 now.
Woo! Milestone! We didn't even think we'd make it past 2.
So many sarcastic claps in this room.
It's your first number that can be taken the square root of.
Yay!
Thanks, you fucking nerd. Okay, so you're hearing Bill and you hear Jacob. We have a very special guest here today.
He's very special.
Not that kind of special. He's my friend Derek. He was my roommate for a while.
Hello, I'm Derek.
Shut up, dude.
And so he's in town for a few days. Remember how in the last podcast audience I mentioned Nerd Codex? He's that guy.
Yep, I'm that guy.
He's in the thing that they are. So let's see. We're normally record like middle of the week, so it's very much like, oh, what was your day like today? And that's really not the case today, because it's Saturday, and most of us just woke up today.
Did you find that fucking house that I sent you a picture of?
Yeah, I wrote it up. There's a citation on the door that I wrote. Damn you.
Oh, dang. Writing people up. I didn't know that was part of your job.
Yeah, I write people up for weeds and trash.
Like you had already done it when I sent you the picture?
Yeah. I done it like the day before.
Well, I wasn't gonna fucking go out of my car and go check the door.
I saw it from the road. Wasn't even an issue.
I bet there's a lot of houses in Lubbock like that. Are we supposed to say the city? Oh.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay.
As long as you don't shout out my address or anything.
We live here at... I actually don't know what your address is.
It'd be kind of hard to make that slip.
Yeah, oops. Just spewing.
Oh.
Oh shit. I'm gonna fake beat that out later. So let's see. It's a Saturday.
There's a post on Facebook that says, "Bitch, I watch CSI. I know how to make your death look like an accident."
I'm not gonna let you just read your fucking news feed for the
just
podcast.
Browsing Facebook.
This is why, you want to know why I have a laptop? So I make sure it's being recorded and it doesn't crash. I'm not sure you need a laptop.
I definitely need a laptop.
Because you just sit there like, oh, look at my Facebook feed. And that's the least interesting thing I've ever heard. I will cut all of it out.
The reason I laughed is because you fucking hate CSI.
I'm putting funky
dick.
Okay, you're getting donkey noises over your.
See, I thought you had your laptop for like a legitimate reason. Like if we talk about something and we want to fact check, you like look it up. But no, it's just
No,
Facebook.
yeah. You see, that's what I was thinking originally, but we don't talk about interesting things.
I don't know if you noticed what I cut out from the last podcast. You started playing our podcast on the podcast.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
So I cut that out because that's retarded.
I don't care.
It's why would you do that?
It's like you hate Bill. You're making him do so much work in post.
Yes.
So much work.
Yes. And you're going to do way more work today because I need to...
Yeah, whenever this is over, I'm pretty much going to scurry over to the edit bay and work on this thing until, like, after the tech game today.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that we only have a day to put this up. Or
Yeah.
you only have a day to put this up.
How about that?
See, if I were running the podcast, I'd be like, yeah, you're not coming back.
Get shit on.
Get fucked.
Exactly.
I don't want to do that much work.
So, should we explain the get fucked joke?
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
That's
still full. I'm an asshole.
a good joke. Or a good story.
So that's from the last time I worked at the a certain apartment complex here in Lubbock. I would work the turn process with them, which is cleaning up all the apartments, and I just worked on the maintenance crew.
Oh, yeah.
And I did that again this year. New manager, but some of the employees were the same. And it was kind of a callback to when last time I did it, I was working with Jacob, and he was just doing his thing where he just pesters me all day. And so...
I wasn't even the one you told.
I'm talking about the first time.
Oh!
And so we're loading... we're getting shit, like, unloaded from a truck and putting it in a dumpster or whatever.
Shit on.
Pretty much. And then... You're just that's the year you decided to make fun of me for my strength every single day of my life.
Yeah, I made him do push-ups and stuff. It was a great day.
And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, it might be too heavy for you." I'm like, "Hey, Jacob, how about you go fuck yourself?" And that's some of the first things some of the other people that work there heard me say.
Yeah, that's really all he said.
So like they had seen you pestering me, and they were just like, "What's gonna happen now?" And then I just.
They also didn't realize that Bill and I were kind of friends.
Yeah.
See, that'd be kind of funny to watch because you'd be like, you'd have all these other workies like, I swear he's gonna just snap one day and kill that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't talk ever. I see him carry a knife everywhere.
Yeah.
And so,
Make sure you wear red on Monday.
like, why? Anyway, next year or this current year, we do it again. A different manager, and what were we doing?
I wasn't there.
You weren't there.
Nope.
I think it was.
It was Alex and people. I wasn't there. I was doing something else.
So I don't remember the details. Basically, just like something was said, and I meant it towards Alex, but I think they took it towards my manager or something.
I think
so he
he
said,
was just being obnoxious.
Yeah, it was just being obnoxious, and he just like was corrected on something. I was like, "Get fucked!" I just said it down the stairwell, and everybody started laughing. Because again, that was like the first thing that they heard me say, basically. Which is kind of like the first thing they heard me say back at Blinn, when I marched the wrong direction when I did symbols for the first time.
What are symbols?
Basically, when there's a marching band and they do block drills, they'll move in a square. Then the director will say something that means take the square the other way. I didn't know what that meant.
Have you ever seen the movie Signs? It's the things they put in crop circles.
I hate you.
Those are symbols.
It's like, where the fuck is he going with this?
And so I went opposite of the band, and the guys don't know my name, and the drum line, they don't know my name yet, so they're like, Symbol Kid, no. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, fuck! And I scurry back to my position, and that's the first thing they heard me say. Yeah, scurry back with my plates bronze. My only claim to fame as a cymbal player, because I couldn't read music when I started, but I was able to shine my cymbals so shiny that I could magnify light that was reflected off them, and I would burn the backs of the people in front of me.
Yep. A lot of cymbal players do that, actually.
It took me like 4 hours to do because they were really old. And I remember I got out in the field and Dr. Burke was up at the tower like, "Hey Bill, your cymbals are really shiny." I'm like, "Thanks."
I worked all day on it.
I did. Yeah, it was one of the more sillier times of my life. Okay. So Derrik was my roommate for like half of my time at Tech. We were in this duplex kind of outside the loop in Lubbock.
Yeah.
In a almost less than reputable subdivision of duplexes.
Except is that your way of calling them shitty?
We could probably say it, because, I mean...
Oh, Linwood?
Yeah, there's so many people that live there.
It's not specific
You're
enough.
not going to find our...
They lived in the 5th Street on the 3rd block.
That's not how streets work. I know that now, because I work for the city driving streets all day. I can maybe navigate around the city now, because it's my job.
All right.
I still use my phone to navigate, though.
It's just... That's the thing I always remember, is like, anytime I get in the car with you, it's just like... All right, I'm probably going to have to help with directions, so I'm ready to do that.
No, I was up front like, okay, if you don't tell me where we're going, I will get lost.
It's funny that you think that. Every time I get in the car with Bill, it's like, okay, I can't talk to him very much because we're going to die.
Yeah, if I get distracted, my driving skill is pretty much inversely proportional to how much talking I do. And if I'm talking a lot, I will run into something. So I just have to, like, shut it down a little bit.
So I usually...
I just make my peace with it and move on. Like, we may die today, but I'm going to have some good conversation.
I usually just wait until we get to whatever destination he's taking me on.
Destination? Oh, god damn it. You keep... So, he won't stop comparing our friendship to, like, a heterosexual relationship. And it's becoming more and more hard to ignore.
It's kind of hard not to, Bill.
Oh, I thought you were just going to say it's becoming more and more hard.
Not wrong. Basically, I think my family was up in town for my recital. We wanted to take them out to dinner, but there were like scheduling conflicts. My family's like, "Yeah, take him out to lunch or something one time, just to kind of pay it back to him." It's like, okay. And it ends up being he kept saying like, "This would be a great date." I'm like, "God damn it!" We went out to like a nice steakhouse.
I half expected the next part of the story to be like, so he showed up in a tuxedo and had a bouquet of flowers or something like that.
I'm ready, dear. Yeah. Basically, on more than one occasion, I've been a little too nice. That doesn't sound right now that I'm saying it. Basically...
What a dick. Now you gotta take me somewhere else.
No, I don't. The honeymoon
I'll
period's
remember
over.
this.
Like a Telltale game. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, Derrik was my roommate for a while. And then for a while we had, one of our roommates was a guy named Josh. And he was the same major as us, percussion, music ed, and all that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh!
We were all in the
never mind. I was thinking of the... I was like,
You're thinking
he was?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Talking about Jables.
Yeah, Jables. Old JB. My socks are all wet. That's a whole nother slew of stories that can be told. Let me just write down letters JB here. All right. And
you need to hurry up. I fucking remembered I want to talk about something.
would you want me to write it down, motherfucker?
Nope,
or?
I'll remember.
I'm just gonna write Jacob's story. Actually, I'm not gonna write shit.
Yeah,
I just
way
hit
to
my own
fucking
mic.
just break all that.
And so JB, so we were all the same major. So it was even though it wasn't the best neighborhood, not even the best duplex. It's like, yeah, but at least we're not like at each other's throats all day. Similar taste in like music and media, and then like we could all go out grocery shopping together and just split it 3 ways, and that would be fine.
3 ways.
Yeah, got along pretty well.
Yeah. So JB goes off to student teach because he's, I think, a year ahead of us both.
Yeah.
Because I stayed at Blinn an extra year, and I think you're younger than me, probably. Whatever.
No, I'm just a slacker.
Okay.
With you on that one.
So I'm not gonna argue.
I just, basically, in short, I got a year behind because my freshman year, I messed up the whole entrance theory thing and didn't take theory my first year.
Oopsies.
So that's basically what happened.
That would do it.
It's okay. I've failed fucking oral skills 1.
Get
or
up on the
2.
mic.
I failed oral skills 2, and I
Thank
fucking
you.
failed theory 3, so I'm really behind.
Leaning in the back of your chair at the window. That's why it sounded that way.
It was the first one.
Just your game.
Go with your fucking story.
Turning down again.
Oh,
That's
cool.
all.
I can hear the echo in the drums. You
Yeah.
yell really loud.
Yeah,
That's
he's
fun.
so fucking loud. When I have to, the reason why the audio sounds that way is that I had to bring you way down.
I haven't even listened. I other than what I've told you I've listened so far, I haven't listened.
This is why we don't have any sponsorships.
Nuh-uh, I fucking let that bitch play it, whatever, but I just haven't listened.
Whatever.
I fall
Anyway, JB moves out to student teach. We're still on the story, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, we keep derailing you, so continue. Go ahead.
As we do.
Well, have you seen our picture?
No, I haven't. But I bet you're
learn
gonna show
today.
me.
I fucking am.
You gonna learn today. I do want to talk about our other roommate.
Yes. Okay, so JB moves out to student teach. I've said that like 8 times. Just blinking at me. And so we need to find a new roommate to cover the cost. I think I contributed by making very pretty posters to hang up in the music building that got like 0.0 responses. And Derek was much more productive by making a Craigslist ad.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up coming through. So you won't say his first name, but we'll just say Yef. So Yef shows up, and he seems like a pretty normal dude.
That doesn't sound right though, because we need another name. What's a ginger version of
A
Yef?
ginger version of Yef.
Call him Scott.
That works.
Scott? Okay.
Okay, so we'll call him Scott.
Hi, Scott.
So, no. You do not want to meet him.
I'm saying hi to the Scott. I know that's a
You
ginger.
really don't want to.
You really-
Yeah, I like the other ginger Scott
Yeah,
we know.
Ginger Scott is cool.
But
Oh!
yeah,
I get
I
it.
figured that's why you did.
yeah.
Anyway, okay, yeah, continue.
So, Scott seems like a pretty okay dude. He's paying his rent on time. When we first meet him, he takes us out to eat. And pays for our dinner, so we're like, okay.
That's
Like,
right. It
before he
started
was-
out so
It's-
well.
Was this before he moved in?
No,
No, this is right as he moved in. He's like, I
Oh,
wanted to get
yeah.
to know you guys, so we just took us out to eat. So it was like,
Oh,
it was.
because I remember now. I was back in Dallas for something.
Yeah.
So he had actually moved in while I wasn't there, and then when I came back, he was.
He's trying to tell a story.
Turning this into Terrence and Phillip podcast.
Not trademarked.
Anyway, so I get back, and I've been out of town, so I don't know what to expect. I've only ever talked to him on the phone and texted him. Like, I have no idea what he looks like.
Were you in town when he was moving in?
I think so, but I don't really remember much from it. Like he was unassuming enough that it didn't like strike any red flags.
Yeah, he mostly went through our landlord, which was awesome. He's like the
Oh,
best
yeah.
landlord I've ever had. But anyway, he went through him, so we didn't have to do much. He just kind of got his key, moved into the room, and I was just like, I hope he doesn't steal stuff. And we went from there.
And he didn't, so it was
yeah.
okay. Took us out to dinner, paid his rent on time. He was a kind of almost a fellow musician, so it's like
Yeah.
okay.
So
it's
I
like,
pull in, and my first impression is he's wearing like a Cannibal Corpse T-shirt, which I was fine with. I like metal. I'm a metalhead myself, but that's just not really what I was expecting. So he's wearing like a Cannibal Corpse T-shirt, and then he's like, I don't know, he's got to be close to 300 pounds. He's got to be closing in on that number.
he's like a stack of wow. He looks like a stack of flapjacks.
Yeah,
So-
basically. So like, and that's not a reason why you don't like him. or
Yeah, that
anything.
just
But
painting a picture.
yeah.
This is important later.
So he's just the most pale, kind of awkward looking, close to 300-pound ginger guy wearing glasses. That was my first impression. I was like, oh, all right, well, there's that. But like, I was like, I mean, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But he had talked to me about the reason he was moving out to Lubbock was because his fiance was here. So in my mind, he was like at least moderately decent looking.
Yeah.
But boy, was I wrong.
And so
I never met the fiance.
nor did I.
I just assumed she was not pretty.
She was the Angelina of his pancakes.
Yeah. Which that ended up going south anyway, which I I actually, looking back, I blame that for the start of the downfall.
Yeah, I think that's why. Here's what I remember being the first big red flag. And it's when I went out to change the batteries in my weather station.
I love this story.
And I'm hit with the smell of death and a bunch of flies. I back out, close the door, and go, what was that? And look through the blinds, and there's a bag of rotisserie chickens sitting out in the sun decomposing. I believe I alert Derrik to the situation, to which he is also like,
I'm not sure why someone would put an entire chicken,
Yes.
an entire raw chicken, still in the bag, on a back porch.
In the sun.
So anyway, this leads to, well, Bill, did you put that there? No. Did you put it there? No. Okay, well, I guess it was, I almost said his name, Scott.
Yeah, if I'm probably going to slip up and say it, which I will have to censor myself when I do that. But yeah, so it's like, okay, well, clearly it's Scott that has left the bag of chicken out on the back. It's like, I guess we must investigate as to why he left the bag of chicken to rot out in the sun. And a little...
Up until this point, he'd been fine. He mostly kept to himself. He was, nice enough. And I don't know if he started working yet. At that time, he just was living off the money he had saved up for the move.
I think shortly around that time he started working at Stripes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stripes is a local gas station chain.
Welcome to Stripes.
That was also, I think, part of the downfall is that he started working the night shift. So it was like our schedules were opposite. So like little things would like really piss him off because he'd get woken up really easily.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so
I tried figuring out why people put chickens outside, but I couldn't.
There is no rhyme or reason to this.
I thought maybe it was some kind of like ritual.
Oh yeah, so I was going to say that. So I asked him about it later. Actually, I think this was after he started working because I had to wait until later to ask him.
Oh yeah,
because I think he was asleep during the day. But anyway, I asked him about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I did put that out there." Like he had completely forgotten about it. I was like, "Hey, do you know there's a like raw chicken just decomposing and flies are all over
a little
the back porch?"
A little imagery on that. It was like a 2-gallon bag. I think it was like 1 or 2 chickens in it. And it was sealed when it was put out there. It had burst when we had gotten to it. It was leaking out of a corner.
Oh. Yeah, because I guess the heat, because this was kind of summerish.
It was out in the sun, so it was.
So the heat had like caused it to expand, and then the chicken just burst through the bag, and it wasn't like chicken through the bag. It was like juices and goo and stuff,
viscera and maggots and flies. It was awful.
So anyway. Going back to that, yeah. Sorry if you're eating.
Well, there go my
I
fries.
asked him about it, and when he went and looked, it finally dawned on him like, oh yeah, I think he said a few weeks ago I put that out there to defrost, and I was gonna use it for dinner or whatever. Just forgot about it. I'm like, how do you forget about a whole chicken?
Yeah,
that's dinner. That's not cheap.
That's.
I mean, it's not like crazy expensive, but like if you're gonna buy an entire chicken, I'm assuming you're setting yourself up for several meals.
For leftovers and stuff.
Not one. So how do you forget about an entire chicken?
So that was the big red flag I can remember. But basically... Are you
going to eat your fries?
Not after that. Do you want my fries?
Kinda.
Sure, you can have my fries.
It's getting cold.
They are getting cold. It's a cold day, by the way.
I don't want your ketchup. I just want your fries.
All right, I'm going to continue the story.
Yes, please.
So that was the first major red flag. We were like, that's kind of weird, but I guess you could forget.
I was kind of playing off like, well, I mean, maybe he just forgot. Like, I don't know.
I was like, okay, I've forgotten about stuff like that before. Never something to that scale, but okay, we'll move on. We'll move past it.
Did he do drugs?
No.
Really?
He was actually a pretty clean-cut guy. I mean, relatively speaking, like he worked for a prison system for a while as a guard.
Yeah.
So like he was, a pretty strong guy. Like he was more in shape when we first saw him.
Yeah.
As time went on, he got
into more of a pear shape.
Yeah, he turned into like a gourd.
Yes. Like an eggplant, but stacks of eggplant and with red hair.
But anyway, okay, I'm trying to remember what the next one was. Was the next one the conversation about...
That was actually a lot later. I think everything in between that was more gradual. It was, the state of the kitchen, we'd find it, how the house would smell when we would leave and come back after a few days.
Right.
Peeking into his room to, go reset the router and realizing...
Oh, yes.
That it was a wreck.
Yeah, anytime you peek into his room, it was like... I don't know, peeking into Pandora's box or something.
Yeah,
it was like...
You never know what you're going to see.
It was terrifying.
It started to look like an episode of Hoarders.
Yeah, it really did. It started to look like an episode of Hoarders. I half expected, clothes and things on the floor to just kind of move. Oh, luckily never did see that. But basically, I don't know if I ever told you this, but basically, I took our, bug spray... and just sprayed a thick line in front of his door. I was like, you can have all the bugs you want in there. I don't want them out. The rest of the house, I want to stay clean. So anytime I had anybody over or anything like that, that door went closed.
Yeah, and having people over, kind of stopped happening for a little bit. Because it was just, close friends who knew about the situation. Yeah, but I mean, you can't bring someone home to that and expect to appear sane. Because you're trying to live in that. Or live adjacent to it.
That became amusing topic on several dates that I went on while we were roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're welcome to come and hang back at my place, but just be prepared. You may see some things you don't want to see.
You're going to see some shit.
That's not the kind of thing you want to bring up on a first or even second or third date.
That's enough for an out. Just never mind.
Yeah. But basically what we mean when we bring this up is, aside from the fact that his room is disgusting and all that, there were times when we had people over that he would just walk out into the kitchen without a shirt on.
And these, red boxers. I remember them because they're the only boxers he would ever wear.
Yeah, I never saw another pair of boxers on him.
It was always that kind of red, grimy set of boxers. My biggest... that's one thing. That could be, never raised for privacy or whatever. My big thing is how he would leave the kitchen after he was done, air quotes, cooking in there. He would, make at first it was like a stew. He would dump chicken in it, a whole chicken.
I was wanting to hear this story.
And it would be just it would be a whole chicken.
So many stories
couple of things of ramen, and then, some spices and shit. And he would just boil that.
Stew it.
For hours. He would start it, go to work, and come back and sleep, and then get after it. And then he'd eat off of it for a few days. It had been sitting out, not simmering.
Oh yeah,
it had come to room temperature several times.
He would never, in the time that I saw, refrigerate anything.
No.
And if he did, it was on a plate, and it was not
uncovered. Yeah.
So anything that he got out of there was just dry and nasty. And I remember several times where I would... Well, not several times. I kind of just stopped doing it. But one or two times I would see something that's been sitting in the fridge uncovered for weeks and weeks. I'm like, okay, well, this has clearly gone bad. Whoever put this in there.
Yeah.
I threw it away. I'd wash the dish and move on.
And move on with your life like a normal human being would.
And then he would get my attention later and be like, hey, did you throw away the food that was in the fridge? I'd be like, well, yeah, it was sitting there for
it was
weeks.
Old.
It was nasty. You did not want to eat that. He's like, oh no, dude, it's fine. I was going to eat that. I was like,
what?
And then I'm just going to throw this in there because it's still my favorite story. There was a time where
a long time ago.
It was in the midst of one of these similar conversations. It all kind of jumbles together a little bit.
Yeah, where it's I don't have many of these conversations with, I almost said his name again. But I think Derrik has the most, where he would try to reason with Scott, and Scott would give his just ridiculous logic for something back.
Oh yeah,
and it would just give you, it would leave you going, all right.
Yeah, if you know anything about food sanitation, like most people do. Things like, if something's been in the refrigerator for weeks, it's probably not good anymore. If you don't refrigerate something you've cooked within 24 hours, you probably don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
Things like that where bacteria is forming, mold is forming, whatever. You don't want to eat that.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the way it works in Scott's mind at all. in his mind, anything's good for up to, I don't know, 2 months probably.
Yeah, until it crawls away.
Yeah.
He's down for
unless
it.
you can see like, moldy fuzz on it easily, he's probably gonna eat it.
Yeah, you can just scrape that off.
But yeah, he prided himself on having a stomach of steel, and I guess to some degree he did.
He must have. He should have been dead.
Yeah, he should be dead.
He didn't die. The kicker of the story's coming up, and he should be dead.
Yeah, so this is why he should be dead. In the midst of one of these conversations, we were talking about like basic food sanitation, and how I was like, well, I mean, I'm not like crazy about it, but you got to refrigerate things, and if you don't eat them in time, I just throw them out. And he's like, well, I don't really get sick from that stuff. I mean, I've had like undercooked chicken before, and I got like salmonella like 3 times, and it's unpleasant, but I'm fine. My jaw hit the floor.
The phrase I think at the end of that was like, yeah, I've had salmonella 3 times. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, something like that.
It was just like, doesn't bother. More than 0 times on salmonella is a problem. Salmonella kills people.
Yes, it does.
He's had it 3 times. It's like,
It's like, first of all, you should be dead. Second of all, that is not something you just bring up in passing. Like, I was just like, as soon as he said that, I was just jaw dropped, mouth open, like, I'm sorry, what? Like,
yeah.
But he just kept on going on with his life. And then immediately after that conversation, I was like, Bill, guess what I just talked to Scott about? He had a similar reaction.
Of like, what? Huh? No, you don't come back from that with like, oh, it doesn't bother me. Oh, I had salmonella 3 times. That's yeah.
So there was another thing. He went through this phase where he was on a diet.
Yes.
For those of you, I know you can't see me, but
air quotes?
I just did huge air quotes there. I guess it was like a low carb kind of thing. So he was mostly just eating meat and cheese. Which is cutting out carbs. But
maybe
not. Anyway, so he went through this phase for a while where something he had read online gave him this idea. I don't know. He would just get packages of raw steak. He would season them up a little and just go to town.
He would just eat them raw.
Yep.
Raw.
Yep.
I have
not rare. That's actually okay. Raw.
Fucking raw.
Did not even simmer or scorch the outside to kill the germs.
At this point, I started taking pictures of this whole situation.
Oh yeah,
because I was pretty sure he was going to end up killing us at some point.
It seemed like a possibility.
Yeah, so I have pictures of not even raw steak, raw ground beef, open in a package out on the counter.
Yeah.
And then it's in the fridge.
That's even more dangerous.
And then if you check the metadata, 2 days pass, and there's another picture, and it's in the back of the fridge, and another thing's in the foreground. That thing sat in the fridge for 2 days, unopened raw beef. That's asking for a foodborne illness.
Oh, yeah.
It was disgusting.
What was great was telling my friend Hannah about all this, because she's a nutrition major.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in the midst of all these food preparation classes and food sanitation classes. So she's just like horrified.
Yeah. All signs point to crazy. All signs point to getting really, really, really sick. So, yeah, he wouldn't cook his food properly. He wouldn't store it properly. And then he wouldn't clean up after himself after he was done, quote unquote, cooking things. I would see pans with like a strange fluid in them for days. Then there'd be like a plate in the pan.
Yeah.
It just sat there.
Usually he would just take out the plate, heat up the pan, use the leftover juices for added flavor, put stuff right on the plate. Not even washing the plate.
Yeah. And so, let's see. I'm going to skip ahead a bit. When we were moving out, I wanted to get my plates back. I had just like 4 glass plates, just the standard Walmart plate set.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized I was missing a few. And so Derek goes on a recon mission to go find them in his broom. And he's like...
I knew they were in his room.
Yeah, because he I could already see when he would leave the door open, his eating bowl, which is really one of my mixing bowls that he would just he would pour food into, eat out of, and never really clean out.
Yeah, that thing was like a massive mixing bowl.
You couldn't scrape that shit off. I'm sure it was like it's fused with the plastic. It was gross. And so after when we're moving out, like Derek goes on a recon mission. He's like, "Yeah, your plates were in the bathroom." And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I do not want them. I will get new plates. And I did. I don't have those plates anymore because I don't want to die.
Those were caked in fecal matter.
They had to be. Had to be.
I just picture this fat stack of flapjacks sitting on the toilet.
Eating.
Having some loose stool.
That's another part of the story.
No, I was going to bring it up. Just like bowl in hand eating. That's what I pictured.
One of life's great pleasures. Put it in, push it out. I'm sure that's what he would do. Just celebrate eating and shitting. Oh God, what a weirdo. So
I'm actually fucking. I was trying to find out this fucking raw meat diet.
I'm going to.
Oh yeah. So the loose stool thing. he had brought back some leftover was it sausage or something?
It was from the Stripes gas station. You know the sausages that roll on the rollers for like 3 months?
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
It was some of that where they had decided that no, it's time to throw this out.
Yeah. Stripes was like, well, this has gone bad, we're throwing it out. And Scott was like, well, I'll take it, so he took it home and he put it in the fridge or whatever.
Grind it up into dog food, I guess. Nope.
And he was like, yeah, so if you guys want any of this leftover sausage I got from Stripes, you're welcome to it. And at first I was like, oh, cool. That's actually something I may actually eat, because Stripes actually has some pretty good food.
Yeah.
But then he mentions, yeah, they were going to throw it away, but I figured I'd take it home because, that stuff doesn't bother me.
Red flag.
And then he goes on to say, already bad enough. And I was already backpedaling. I was like, oh, well, I
don't need to watching my figure.
And then he was like, yeah, it's a little old. It's given me some loose stool, but I think it's pretty good still. Just another one of those things that he just says in passing. That
he just gave me some loose stool. Like, I think he even said but loose diarrhea is good for weight loss.
Oh, yes, he did say that. He's like, but that's good for weight loss anyway. I was like, that's not how I want to lose weight.
That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. But yeah. So, tentative grasp on food sanitation, no grasp on food preparation or storage, and then really no grasp on how digestion works. I think he didn't die from salmonella because his body doesn't understand how germs work. I guess. But he should be dead.
I'm pretty sure he's actually an alien dressed up in disguise as a human.
He's wearing someone's skin. Movies. Yes. Sugar, water. And that's I'm surprised he didn't skittle out of his room and just sugar and water. And then we're like, okay.
Get the pan.
Gotta censor that. Damn it!
Oh, you said that.
I did.
Idiot.
Shit.
Get your shit together, Bill.
Oh, Scotty, you prankster.
You sly son of a bitch.
Burt Macklin, you son of a bitch. No, weird bastard.
Scotty doesn't know that we hate him.
Scotty doesn't know.
No, Scotty.
So, the biggest thing was the food preparation. I remember when I first noticed his truck parked out front, I saw the 911 was an inside job sticker on his bumper. Yeah. So I was like, oh, he's a truther, so he's probably a conspiracy theorist.
He's a truther.
So he's like, uh-oh, that's going to be an issue later. And so he would, the stuff he would watch, it would be YouTube videos of this just crazy preacher dude just shouting the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And just shouting the most I'm pretty sure that's not in the Bible.
Yeah, when he put, we had our internet go out, and it was on a weekend, so we had to wait till Monday to get it fixed. So he brings out this giant box of DVDs and stuff and puts it on the couch in the living room. He's like, hey, if you guys want to use any of that while the internet's out, you're welcome to it. I was like, okay, cool, thanks, man.
Yeah, good intentions, just...
And then we started to look through the DVDs that are in there, and we came across... what are those things called?
Pornos.
No, not pornos. It was it's the Bible things. what are they called? I can't
Left
remember.
Behind?
No. Concordances?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A concordance. So when a concordance is whatever it's called. It's kind of like not a thesaurus or a dictionary, but basically you've got a topic in mind or a subject. So you're looking for a word or some subject matter, and so it has a list in the Bible of where that is. Since I went to a private school, I had to use a concordance a lot. We had to cite sources from a dictionary and cite sources from a concordance every now and then. So I'm pretty familiar with them. But basically, so that means he had a topic in mind and wanted to find where it was in the Bible.
Yeah. And now this doesn't bother me. It's not like I'm like, oh, he's a Christian. Like, no, there's nothing wrong with that. I consider myself a Christian. But that's not...
It's unusual to own a concordance.
It is unusual to own a
in a non
concordance.
like scholarly setting.
And it's funny because he would get very particular about studying like biblical things, but then his lifestyle and the way he acted and everything else was just like, that's not what I expected at all.
So
he would watch a lot of like I guess it was on Netflix, but like on TV and YouTube he'd watch a lot of shouty preachers videos.
It's really the best word for them, just shouty preachers. They're just they're angry and yelling.
But anyway, we need to move on.
No. There's one more thing that's worth bringing up. I think the biggest thing, the thing that scared me the most is that he owned a few guns, and he was adamant about that we stow a weapon up in front of the door.
To preface this, there would be occasionally people would come by and knock on our door, and it'd be door-to-door salesman or somebody passing out pamphlets for a church or whatever it is.
Hardly the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, so it wasn't a big deal. But a lot of times if I heard a knock at the door or hear the doorbell and I'm not expecting anyone or Bill isn't expecting anyone,
you just kind of let it go.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not going to answer it because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. So
in his mind, that is just unacceptable. Scott's like, no, you can't do this.
At least you remember.
You have to. Yeah, I'm surprised I remembered. You have to answer the door, guys. And I was like, he took it as we were scared to answer the door because it could have been somebody trying to hurt us. Just completely misunderstood why I didn't want to answer the door.
Like, no, it's probably not company for me.
Yeah, so anyway, he was insistent on putting a shotgun leaned up against the door, basically.
Yeah, loaded and leaned up next to the door.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm fine with you having firearms for it. Or I'm fine with you having firearms in the house. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I want to get a couple myself. I didn't have any at the time, but anyway.
Oh, and before him, JB had a handgun in his drawer.
Yeah. It's so that wasn't the issue.
And he pointed out, like, guys, if you ever need to use this, it's in the drawer. So it's like, oh, okay.
Right. And that's fine. But he wanted to keep it out, like, against the doors. And I was just like, dude, I go on dates occasionally. I bring people back here occasionally. I don't want them to come in and see a shotgun right there and think like, oh God, this is the night I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it looks bad. It's
because of the implication.
Yeah, exactly. Are we in international waters? Yeah. But my problem is
she doesn't know she's gonna get back.
Like, are you gonna hurt these women? It's a loaded weapon that's not secure, so it could be stolen.
Yeah,
easily.
So that's why I was just like, I'm all for that, and there's no children here or anything. Oh, and also that we have a couple friends who do have children, so like if I had a kid come over, I don't want the shotgun.
It's possible, but I mean they could pick it up and end up shooting somebody. Yeah. Like, so you're supposed to keep it in like a safe or at least hidden so that no one can get to it, or at least unloaded so it doesn't stand a chance of going off and causing property damage.
So
but, I mean,
anyway, it was just a weird thing, and we had to like argue about it.
It was
basically I had to turn it into like, because I didn't think of all the things. Like, he's been pretty easygoing, but that was the thing where like, I want this shotgun here. I was like, well, I don't.
Yeah, and that I think it actually came down to me as like a tiebreaker.
Yeah,
because I saw the group text, but I was like busy or at school or something.
Yeah,
and I eventually saw. I think for both of you, it's like, Bill, it's going to be up to you. Can we keep a shotgun at the front door?
Yeah,
like,
I basically had to turn it into like, okay, we're doing a roommate vote. because I knew you were going to say
It's like, no.
no.
It's unnecessary.
So we finally got that dealt with, but I was a little scared that he was just always going to keep a shotgun there.
Yeah.
I was just like, I really don't want that there.
But you'd have them leaned up against stuff in his room, and it's not secured. That's not how gun ownership should work.
No, it's not.
But yeah, that's the story of our weird roommate. But I do have a little ending kicker to this. The reason I'm in the house I'm in now is because my family saw this guy. When my entire family was over for my recital, they stopped by my house for something before we figured out where we're gonna go eat for dinner for something. And Larry just steps out in his boxers like he does, and my sister retches. She's like, "Wah!" She sees him and
I remember that now. That was hilarious.
my whole family's in the living room, and he just steps out in all of his flapjack glory.
Your grandma too?
And
yeah,
my grandma,
your sister was just like, oh my god,
and she's like hunched over, like that's her reaction is to tense up. It was just funny as hell to see. And I remember after that, my parents were like, "You need to find a new place to live. If find a nicer place, we'll help you pay for it." It's like, okay. I mean, I was okay with the duplexes. I knew I didn't want to be in the same duplex as him though, because Derrik was moving out to go student teach, and I was going to be student teaching in Lubbock, so I found a new place to live in Lubbock, basically.
Yeah, we basically just reached the breaking point, and it normally goes, the lease would go from
it'd be
August
a 12-month lease. And the landlord,
we broke it early because we had a cool landlord,
super cool landlord, really accommodating, and we explained we're gonna go student teach on this semester. I was pretty sure I was gonna go out of area tonight, but we need to get out of it 6 months early. He's like, yeah, okay, no problem. So super accommodating, and just a cool landlord. And it's funny because that area, Linwood Townhomes is like a shitty place to be, but this landlord owned just a few houses in the area.
Well, actually, he runs the whole thing now.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he...
Get it together.
Yeah, he was like the shining light in an otherwise dim situation.
Yeah, he was the diamond in the rough.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it was always, if I needed anything done, or even dealing with internet stuff, which technically we're supposed to do directly.
Yeah.
I just got tired of it, and he actually had a person that was his contact for the internet company. Mm-hmm. So anytime we had any issues, pretty much with anything, I could text him or call him, and same day usually, if not the next day, it'd be taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, you could also deal with him through text messaging, which is
unusual. That was nice too. He was very it was kind of off-putting at first. He was pretty informal.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, really good landlord. Actually, speaking of which, I don't think I've told you this, but before you or JB moved in there, I was there with my friend Eric and another Josh,
mm-hmm.
which you've met.
Yes.
So we lived there for a while, and when it switched over from being Linwood to being under this guy's
mm-hmm.
name, we'll call him, what was it, Hef?
Yeah, Yef.
Yef? Oh, sorry, Yef. We'll call him Yef. That was our landlord, Yef. But anyway, when it went... It's funny because he's a redneck.
Yeah, he's not even close to a Yef.
Not even close. But anyway, Yef was a really good landlord, and our first interaction with him before you moved in,
mm-hmm.
was he sent out letters or whatever, and so it was a letter posted on our door. And this was kind of as I was moving in, with Josh and Eric, and this other guy Nick was moving out. So we get there and we read this letter, and we were just all cracking up about it because it has a slew of grammatical errors and punctuation errors, and it's just it looks like a 5-year-old wrote it.
It's no.
Hi guys, I'm gonna be your new landlord. Yeah. That's basically the tone that came across through the letter.
Yeah.
But we found out very soon that it wasn't that he was unprofessional. It's just that he was a very laid back, informal kind of guy, which actually worked out really great.
Yeah.
So
a really, really great landlord.
But the first interaction with him was oh God, what are we getting ourselves into here?
It's you don't know if this 5-year-old is going to jack up rent or anything.
Yeah. So. But yeah, we got locked in rent at. I'll just say it. We had like $300.
Yeah, it was $300 a month, and that was all inclusive too, wasn't it? No, it wasn't.
Utilities. It was no utilities. That was separate, but the internet and TV cable
were included. So that was a deal.
Yeah,
and I remember
really good
when that room that I moved into, he didn't like make you guys pay for that cost.
Yeah. Before Bill moved in, it was just me and JB for a while, because. Why was that? I don't remember. But basically, it ended up where it was just the two of us and we didn't have a third. Oh, it was because that guy backed out. I forget his name. He was another guy on drumline. Oh, it was Mitch. That's who it was.
Oh.
Mitch was supposed to live with us initially, but then whenever, what's his face, backed out of the lease at the main house or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, basically, we ended up without a third roommate. But the landlord was cool enough to say, well, try to find one. For now, you can just pay your individual parts.
Like, just don't use the room or whatever.
Yeah, so instead of having it for...
Of course, he didn't even lock the room. Like, that became like the guest bathroom for a while.
Yeah, it was unlocked, so we had this third bedroom that was just open, and we were paying $600 a month for the whole house instead of $900.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really nice because we used that for a music room. So like I set up my drum set in there and we had like amps and other stuff set up in there. Soundboard and speaker, microphones, all that. So I actually started, that actually led to me starting a little cover band for a very brief period of time.
Wasn't that like Derrik and the or
yeah.
some point?
Kind of bleep that.
Oops.
But yeah, we went through a bunch of dumb names and we ended up...
What?
I don't remember what we ended up calling it. But anyway.
Just because I'm the one fucking up all the censorship stuff. I'm gonna fix it. I'm the guy that fixes it.
I don't even have to try to make you work.
His
anymore.
name was... That guy's last name... Fuck you.
Anyway. But yeah, that we played one show. And it was like at a house party. And then 2 of the members were dating and they broke up. And that was the end of the band.
Oh, yeah. I remember this now.
Yeah.
China was in that band.
Yeah, China and Jasmine and then they broke up and then it was over.
China.
Anyway.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was...
China.
That was a hell of a time. It was... I remember... really enjoying when it was the 3 percussionists at the time.
Yeah.
Because it was like... I remember we would just like, we'd go grocery shopping and we'd like, what are we going to eat this time? Let's do, like JB had a barbecue so we could do like barbecue shit.
Yeah, he had propane and also propane accessories.
Damn it.
But no, yeah, he had a pretty nice propane grill, so we'd just grill stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's an easy way to make any kind of meat taste pretty good.
That's a great way to stay in shape.
One of my favorite memories is towards Christmas. I was playing with...
Yourself?
Yes, and what was that program? Basically, it's the one where you play an instrument and it grades you. Smart Music? Yeah, Smart Music.
Smart Music.
And they had a cover of Silent Night in there. And so I get out the kazoos and we make a 3-part... or 3-person cover of Silent Night. That's actually up on my SoundCloud. I might link that.
Yeah.
Because it's very festive.
Yeah, and
there's
that's
many
a link dump. Are you doing a link dump?
Occasionally. I basically, in the SoundCloud comments as it scrolls, I'll put a link there if it's relevant.
Okay,
Just
yeah,
make a mark to
definitely.
remember that.
You should add that.
Yeah.
That's a treat.
Yeah. No, that'll link to my SoundCloud, which has...
Yeah, I remember the day, I think it was before you actually moved in. I can't remember. But there was just the day that I remember you showed up to the school, the music building, and it was just like, yeah, so I got a giant box of kazoos.
Oh, yeah. So on Amazon for $6, you can get a box of 72 little plastic kazoos.
Yeah?
And so I showed up with like a pocket... No, I had the whole box with me, but I had like pocketfuls of kazoos, and I just like passing them out to people.
Fucking okra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
get a kazoo. You get a kazoo. You get a
Bees!
kazoo.
Everybody gets bees!
But anyway, yeah, there was a lot of kazoo sounds that would happen. You just it just tended to be like, if we were wasting time, rather than do what normal people do and hang out in the common area, it kind of tended to be Bill's room because he just had random stuff.
Oh, I just had random, like you said, it was a music room before. It kind of stayed the music room when I got there because, like, in my house now, it's musical instruments everywhere. Like, I'm looking, I see a drum set, a bass guitar, there's a euphonium over there.
Yeah.
So there's shit everywhere, and so it was kind of
drumstick over
yeah.
there.
And so like, it was the same way before, just in a one room. So like, I remember a couple of the other guys would come over, and I would just like wire all the shit up, and we would just like start playing covers of shit.
Just do jam sessions.
Yeah, just like it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
And it's still kind of that way.
Oh,
but...
the funny thing about that kazoo cover we did was like, we were just, it was basically just messing around in Smart Music because we were all I think we were doing different Smart Music
Yeah, we
tests.
had different methods classes at the time, but yeah.
Yeah, so we were just messing around with it, and we wanted to cover something with kazoos. I don't know why we came up with that, but the funny thing is that it was like nowhere near Christmas time.
Oh yeah, it wasn't, was it?
No.
It was like July. Oh, no wonder. Okay, I thought it was near Christmas. It's not. It was like the middle of summer when we did that.
We were just like, we know Silent Night. We'll do Silent Night. It was nowhere near Christmas. It was like as far from Christmas as it could be.
Yeah.
But we did Silent Night. Don't know why, but
And there were harmonies, and there were solos, and there's me coughing a lot at the end. Yeah, that was good times. You had a story, Jacob.
You said you were going to remember. Did you
I fucking am mad at you. I hated you for the longest time.
I think I totally...
Okay. Why?
Because I went fucking listened to your shitty ass stream and your Nerd Codex game.
Hey, you remember the name? Yeah, I said it wrong.
China was on there. I made a comment and you're like, oh, hey, it's yeah, so this game, and I was like, this motherfucker. I was so mad. I was going to stop watching, but I was supporting China.
I'm sorry. Oh, that actually reminds me. I was hanging out with a few friends out here last night, and it was Jasmine's boyfriend.
No, God, please, no!
His name. So I know that, but we were like splitting up into teams for this game or whatever. I was like, and I was explaining the rules for people who didn't know. So I was like, all right, so it'll be me, and then you, and then Jasmine, and then, and I just froze, and everybody was like, are you serious? It's like,
No, God!
that's it. I'm just bad with names.
I did the same thing. There's a is he a freshman now? No, he's a sophomore. Colin,
Sophomore.
the guy we keep telling stories about. We better tell him we mentioned him again so he freaks
Yeah,
out.
he's
again.
like fucking. He needs to just come on the show. We speak about him enough.
He'll be the next special guest.
What are you talking about?
He's one of the newer guys at Tech.
One of these
okay.
bitches
And
that's a percussion major.
Stories about him keep popping up on the podcast, and but the way we break it to him is like, "Hey, we talked about it in the podcast. It wasn't very good." He'll just like, "What? What did you say?"
But we don't tell him where in the podcast.
just tell him that he was mentioned. He's like, "What did you say?" And so,
How do we know?
Does he do stupid things or what?
Yeah. If you would listen to our podcast, you would know.
don't
I might.
bring that evil.
We'll see. I mean, I only say that, like, I probably will listen to it eventually, but I only say that because, kind of like Jacob was saying earlier, I don't think I've watched any of the Nerd Codex stuff at all.
I watch all of it. Every time there's one view, that's me. I watch it. I posted the subreddit, even though I forgot a couple times, but I put it back up in a burst. But yeah, no, I watch everything.
Yeah, I've been checking their subreddit occasionally. You keep up with it pretty well.
Almost.
So how hard is it? I remember you said you looked into doing a bot for a while. How hard is it to do?
It's really hard.
Okay.
It's way above my understanding. I'd like a bot so I don't have to think about it. But
Yeah,
I
that'd
mean,
be nice, but
YouTube changed its API, so it broke a lot of the bots. Like on the Rooster Teeth subreddit and the Game Grumps subreddit, the bots were broken.
it seems like they changed their API. I mean, they probably don't, but it seems like they do it like every few months just to mess with people or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it has a legitimate purpose, but yeah, it breaks those subreddit.
Because like I use a third-party YouTube app. It's called MetroTube. I'll plug it. I don't care. It's a good app on Windows Phone. So I use that.
Boo.
Shut up.
Well, I'm just saying so that people don't try to download it elsewhere.
Let him have this.
But anyway, it's a really good YouTube app. It's I like it better than the official one on my Android tablet, personally.
Yeah.
But point is, it seems like once every few months it goes down for like a day, maybe half a day. They're really good about fixing it really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's usually like something will happen and things won't work right. And then they'll release a thing saying, oh, YouTube changed their API again. We'll fix it. And then
API stands for Application Programming Interface, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah, I guess we should have said that.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh.
You stupid.
I could have guessed.
I mean,
it's one of those words you keep throwing around.
that's true. I'm sure you knew what it is, just not necessarily.
I know what it does. It makes the applications talk to each other, basically.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
what were we talking about?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Was that your whole story, just saying you were mad at me?
Yeah, it wasn't a story. I just wanted to yell at you
Oh,
because
okay.
you didn't remember my name.
And then I followed up with, like, I couldn't remember Colin's name. Like, I remember, I think it was shortly after I added him as a friend on Facebook. It was, like, studio class. I was busy, like, doing my recital and stuff. So I hadn't interacted with any of the freshmen because I wasn't in, like, the lower ensembles anymore. So I just had...
Whoa, badass!
The lesser
It does
ensemble.
happen, though.
Yeah, as you get on in years, and you're a big old senior at Texas Tech University, you just don't interact with the freshmen as much. And so I hadn't really met any of them.
Yeah, I didn't know any of the freshmen. Like, pretty much, I think your class, Jacob's class,
Yeah.
I'm pointing at Jacob, is the last class of freshmen that I knew, like, at all.
Yeah, and I mean we were in classes together, so that helps. But I mean some of the other ones stopped having classes together, so you just never see them. So like, I had seen Colin, I had seen him, and I saw his post on Facebook, but I couldn't. Like in the moment, he's like, hey, it's like, what's my? For some reason, he's like, what is my? I think I was trying to call on him or something. Maybe I was asking for help or something. He's like, you don't know my name, do you? I'm like, yeah, it's
Goyen.
and he's like, yeah, you don't know my name at all, do you? He just called me out on it point blank. I was like, okay, shit. And then he did it again later. Like when I came back that one time for studio to talk to Doc, he's like, what's my name? I'm like, he's like, you still don't know my name.
That's the worst. Is like, you think to yourself, dang, I need to figure that out so I don't forget next time. And then you forget.
You just don't do anything about it.
And then they're like, so what's my name?
I'm just not trying to wear it out.
But yeah, later I was helping move stuff just because I was at the symphonic band concert and I just went down to help move equipment and stuff. And he's like, "What's my name?" I'm like, "It's Colin." And he's like, "Okay, all right. What's my last name?"
Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna cover that up
the
again.
waitress.
It's like,
What's my
who
name,
is this?
Dennis?
Who is this? Oh, the waitress. I was like, you don't know my name.
Yeah, the funny thing is you have to assume that she said her name. She's told them her name several times.
And then just, yeah.
We're
We're talking about techno. We're talking about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The reason this podcast exists is because he watched the podcast episode.
Yeah. I love Sunny, and
It's great.
I was watching that episode, and I just texted.
And you called me.
Oh yeah, I called you.
You're like, Bill, we need to start a podcast. I'm like, are you watching me? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
you
Start a
just
podcast.
just fucking knew.
And you were like,
So
Yeah.
how long until we get live sound effects that you can do?
No!
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, we'll work for that later.
No,
of course, I
that'll
said
be
in
up
the last
next
podcast,
week.
I'm not adding dub horns in.
No!
Right before I said that, I did add in dub horns.
Should do the annoying air horn thing,
That's, the dub horn.
Oh, that's what that
The reggae dub horn.
Good, good.
It's a good thing that's on my desktop. And it looks like we need that again there as well. We're at 21 markers, by the way. That's more than any other podcast so far. I've got a lot of work to do.
How long have we been talking?
This isn't remember I started recording way early. But just for reference, it is
We've
1
been
o'clock.
going about
You and Derek
about an
rambled
hour.
on for a while.
About an hour. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
we can go a little longer.
If nobody stops me, I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned to do for Nerd Codex.
Yeah,
So.
you just gotta let it flow out.
When are you
otherwise-
gonna bring China back on?
As soon as she actually comes, we invite her every time,
Stupid China.
and she's like, "Oh, I'm tired. I don't have money. I don't have gas. That's too far."
Yeah, that sounds
what
like
China
sounds like China. And she drives a Mustang, so she does use a lot of gas.
So you should send this to China and tell her that she sucks.
You don't suck, China, but you should probably go do that again. because it was fun.
It is fun, and we'd love to have a ton of people on whenever they want to, but
Like,
they
I'll
don't
make an
show up.
appearance when I drive across the damn state and then drive back.
He does more than China. He drove from Lubbock for a stream and then went back.
What an idiot.
In hindsight, not my best idea. Because the
I
drive
was
over...
really surprised that you did that.
The drive over was fine. It's like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
And so there was traffic at the end of it, so I got delayed real bad. But so I'm like, okay, we do the stream, and it's like 2 in the morning when we end. No, maybe it was 3.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
I'd already downed
early.
Nos to be entertaining on the stream, kind of. And then
Derek had downed a couple brews.
it's not like I didn't want to stay. I honestly just wanted to see if I could drive back through the night.
Right.
And I did. I made it. I got back at 9:30 in the morning in Lubbock.
Shit.
And slept until like 2 p.m. probably. But 0 out of 10 would not recommend.
Yeah,
because I had downed another NOS to get home. And it worked, but like that last hour where it's boring to get over the cap rock out here, I'm like... It's not necessarily that I'm tired, it's just I'm almost delirious.
Yeah,
Because I had woken up...
It's not good.
I woke up at like 11 that day before, but like that was during a time when I was waking up at like 6 or something for work or something. But
yeah,
I decided
it's, if I kind of envy you for that ability. I can't drink caffeine and have it really do much.
have it work. Well, I mean,
for more than like an hour or two.
it's because I avoid it like the plague. Like,
yeah, and
all
that's a good idea. I should do that, but nah.
I avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, but I mean, like if I want caffeine here, I have to make a pot of tea for caffeine. Even decaffeinated tea will set me off. But if I have like a Coke after
6.
not really like after 3 p.m.
Oh my god.
I'll be up till 2.
Wow.
Like I just can't get to sleep.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
I avoid caffeine. That's a habit I built up from being in school and having lessons and performances.
Jesus is
It
watching.
turns my performance anxiety to 11 if I have caffeine, because then I'm already anxious and wound and tight as hell anyway, and so I'm always thinking about what's going to happen to me in the future. And so if I'm like, I'm going to fuck up this lesson so bad because I didn't practice enough, or I'm going to fuck up this performance so bad because I didn't practice enough. If I add caffeine to that, I can't sleep. And it's like I'm just shaking with like, well, this is miserable. Like I've gotten better about understanding like when I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh, I had that Coke at lunch today. That's why I feel this way.
Right.
One of the best times of that was at my warehouse job. Those guys would like down an NOS every morning and then 1 in the afternoon and feel nothing. And I was still not that caffeinated at the time. And so they brought me one, and I wasn't going to just not oblige. I'm like, yeah, I'll have one. And for me, it's not the high that's bad. It's the come down from caffeine for me that's the worst. So, like, I'll be fairly alert, depending on it's usually NOSes that make me the most, like, jittery and crazy. But then the come down will last for hours. And that come down means I can't get to sleep, but I also can't stop thinking either. If I'm in, like, a good mood, it makes me super creative. That's where, like, that intro came from. It's just like being caffeinated and driving around in the Crown Vic doing my job, and like just I can't remember our theme song because that popped into my head. Yeah, but the bass line popped in first, and then I added the melody later. So like it'll make me either creative or super fucking anxious. So at that I had a NOS that morning, and I was already coming down, so I was like jittery, but I didn't understand why at the time. And then
Just pop a couple Adderall.
we pop Molly, I'm sweating. And so we're talking with my boss's son, his dumpy little, should be a little more medicated than he is, not all there,
Sperm
son.
production?
Yeah, kind of a waste. And no, didn't say his name. It'll probably be fine. Not a big fan of the kid. He wasn't a very hard worker.
Shut up.
And he was the boss's kid, so he had some privilege. So, his boss was a colleague of my dad's way back in either college or back on one of my dad's first jobs. So my dad knew him, but he didn't remember my dad. And I remember, like, in passing, my dad was like, "God, guy's an idiot." And then I told his son his story.
Oh.
So I called that kid's dad an idiot to him, indirectly.
Cool.
And so I finished. The son didn't react because he's not all there anyway. But I watched my coworker standing behind him go like, just make the most shocked face, like, do you have any idea what you just said? And so like later he's like, you know what you just said, right? And I was like, I was like, oh no, what have I done? I expected to be fired by the end of the day, but it never came. But I was like, oh shit! I just called his dad an idiot to him. Damn it! But yeah, like the conversation stopped after that, and it's just my coworker staring at me like, do you know what you just said?
But how do we know?
And the caffeine comes into play because the caffeine made me think and say that thing. And then it made me really regret. So I was like shaking, like, oh my god, I'm losing my job. Oh my god. Oh my god. And just freaking out.
Blow.
So let's see, if I ever come down for a stream again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bring it back to that. You should definitely stay.
Yeah.
Or drive with somebody.
Or like apparently my family has a bunch of airline miles. I could fly in and fly out.
Oh.
I'd probably still stay.
That takes that's a 50-minute flight. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. So I might do that at some point. I need to see A, if I'm going to PASIC, because 4-day passes are like $300. And it's like, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, I wanted to go to PASIC. For those of you who don't know, that's the Percussive Arts Society International Convention. I think is what that stands
Convention or conference. I don't know which.
Whatever.
I closed my laptop. I'm not looking for it.
Good.
Yeah, I have this up, but I'm not using it. Anyway. It's it's in San Antonio this year, and I wanted to go, but it is expensive.
Yeah,
well,
so
I thought about volunteering because you usually get in free that way.
Did that close already? Or
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
You have to get into the convention. Yeah.
What if you're a member?
Yeah.
Still have to pay.
How much do you have to pay?
$300 for 4-day passes. For a day, it's like $90, but it's still.
But if you volunteer.
You get in.
You can get in for free, but you have to work during that time.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The best one to do for future reference is the helping out with the marching competition, because that's on like. That's on.
Okay.
That's on like the first day only, and then you get to just spend the rest of the time enjoying the convention. Yeah. Whereas most of the other volunteering jobs, you'll have to do something every day.
Yeah. No, the reason I brought the airline miles is that I can probably use those to get a hotel at that point, or I've got a friend I could stay with, but I've stayed with him in San Antonio so many times. I'm like, I'm over it. I'd like to have an hotel for once in my life when I go to one of these things. But I need to figure out if I can swing just like one day. But like maybe if I can get a hotel for like the 4 days it's there, just to be there and like hang out with friends and stuff. Because I really just want to go there to catch up with all my Blend folks, because they're all begging me to come to this.
Right.
And I'm not sure I can. But I also want to go to talk to the manufacturers and stuff.
Yeah,
that's something I'm interested in.
It's something, because you always hear about networking.
Yeah.
And it's something that I have never really done a lot of. But all you have to do is just do it. It sounds weird, but like it's one of those things where you're like, I don't even know how to go about doing that. Literally just walk up to people, introduce yourself, find something to talk about, and get a card or leave a card or both.
Yeah, and I did that at Team EA.
Yeah, and I did that at Team EA this year, and I met a lot of like big names, and like even like Lalo Davila from Innovative Percussion. Mm-hmm. I even got to meet him, and he even told me like, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. Because I was with a couple people who knew him. Yeah. So like just the little things like that make a big difference.
No, I worked on that's the time when I was still student teaching and absolutely miserable. So I was trying to find something that wasn't teaching, and so I just was asking questions about the manufacturing side. Unfortunately, I found that most manufacturing is done overseas in Singapore and China. The only place that's not like those places is Holland for Atoms and Pearl.
Could use DW. DW's me here.
Yeah, they didn't have a. I don't think they had a booth there. This was a Team EA, not PASIC.
Yeah, it'll be easier at PASIC.
So I do want to go like at least one day and do what I did to me. Just go around and ask like, how would I get involved? And like I got the card from the guy at Zildjian, card from the guy at Yamaha. Yamaha has an internship plan. Zildjian might have something. I didn't really pursue them because I'm probably going to go to grad school. Right. So it's whatever. But I would like to network again. So I should figure that out because it's November 11th to the 14th, and it's like getting
that's
close.
Pretty soon.
Zildjian cymbals. My favorite kind of cymbal.
You're trying to get endorsed by them, so that's why you're...
I like Paiste. I'm grown to like Paiste a lot.
I really like Zildjian symbols.
I mean, yeah, every major symbol company has some good stuff, and I like Zildjian too. I like some of the Sabian stuff. I've grown to really like Paiste. It's just I think they have a different sound.
Who, Paiste?
Yeah, than the rest of them.
That's what Shin plays, right?
I want a Bosphorus.
Yeah, Bosphorus
those
is
are nice
amazing.
too.
I love Bosphorus.
Actually, I'm gonna not say anything during this conversation until we're no longer recording.
Yeah, you're working real hard getting endorsed, aren't you? Wow.
Zildjian symbols, the only symbol for me.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
Yeah, but there's a series that I think Sabian is doing. I can't remember. But anyway, it's like I can't remember what it's called, so I'm just gonna shut up now. Basically, it's similar to the Bosphorus symbols. It's like
a little less
rustic look.
finished. Yeah.
Have you ever
those are really
heard
good.
of Trexis symbols? I believe.
I think I have. I've seen them in passing somewhere.
I kind of heard about them. I'll say why after we're done recording.
There's some good ones like that have been popping up. Like Dream is starting to get a little more popular. I never really looked into Minel much because a lot of theirs are tend to be the cheap ones. But they have some higher level series now that are actually sound really good.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's some Big and Ugly. That's what it's called.
I just want symbols.
It's called the Big and Ugly collection. Sorry, from Sabian.
Oh, you goggled it.
Yeah, I goggled it.
Google goggled it.
But yeah, it's called the Big and Ugly selection, and it's basically just really kind of it just looks unfinished basically, and it gives it a different sound, not having it as polished and all that. Mm-hmm. And they sound really good. They're especially good for jazz.
I just want not these Sabian B8s I have.
Yeah,
the introduction, I hate them.
Yeah,
I really don't like them.
I want you to not have those either.
The only good symbol I have is I think my China symbol. And it's only okay. It's just
Wuhan.
Yeah, I think it's a big Wuhan.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
So
that's all Wuhan makes is like Chinas and gongs.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, how about that?
But yeah, I'm so tired of. I think I hate my hi-hats the most.
Yeah, your hi-hat stand's a piece of shit.
That too. Oh look,
Oh yeah,
I can see it.
yeah. They're nice. They're very similar to the Bosphorus symbols, and a little cheaper actually. A little cheaper
Really?
than the Bosphorus symbols.
Do they sound as good?
I think so. At least if not as good, very very close. Don't listen to it now though.
Yeah. Jesus, play it on a podcast.
Yeah, Bill, if you could add in some ride sound effects from the Big and Ugly series.
Absolutely not. That's too much.
Okay, we need to get off drum talk.
No, this is how we ended the last one.
The last one was like half an hour drum talk.
It was. That's what this week's
And you were-
episode was going to be. But
And you were like, we'll do drum talk next week. And I think is that what the supplemental video is going to be?
Yeah.
It's going to be all drum talk?
Yeah, and the only reason I decided not to do it is because I don't have my camera.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just borrow one.
Yeah, so that's
But
that.
that
I'm just
would
gonna take a video and gonna send it to you. You can put it up.
God, I don't want to sync up the
No,
audio.
I'm not gonna do it.
It's so much work. God.
You just hold up your finger. You go 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's how you sync it up.
What was that, bro?
I don't know.
Is that? I don't
That's how I do it.
know. We've always done like a clap sync.
clicks, yeah.
Like that's how we would sync up stuff before we start streaming. Actually, not even that much. It's usually just go. We would do like this, and close it. Oh yeah, you can't see. Sorry, listeners. I'm pointing my index finger and then not pointing my index finger. But anyway, you just look at the webcam or phrase cam, whatever you want to call it, and then sync that up with we do it with the game audio and then with our audio.
Yeah.
Because you have to sync up through the XSplit is what we use.
Yeah.
The face cam with the gameplay footage with the audio from our mics.
Has anyone made a program yet that does all of that natively? Ever?
Actually, yes. The software that comes with Elgato actually does that pretty well. There's supposedly a webcam feature too. I haven't use the webcam feature, but when I plug in my Snowball microphone and stream the gameplay stuff, I can just hit stream on the Elgato software and it automatically syncs all of it up. Mm-hmm. So it works pretty well. It's just you can't do all the scenes and stuff that XSplit or OBS can do. So
yeah, I am deathly afraid of video editing. I'm okay with audio editing, but I don't know anything about video editing, so it's just like I don't even know how you handle something like that.
Yeah, it's not too hard. At first, it can be daunting, but if you just kind of mess around with stuff, especially with this is not the best video editing program, but for like an introductory understanding how things work, if you use Pinnacle Studio, it's very intuitive, very easy to figure out.
Power Director is also very easy.
Power Director.
But if you want something that's like really good, once you kind of get initial tutorials out of the way, it's pretty easy to figure out. Adobe
Premiere Elements. Yeah, that's what I use. I love that.
Yeah, Premiere is pretty good.
Premiere, Adobe, Elements is amazing.
Are you just plugging all this random stuff?
I think Jacob's dream is to be sponsored by Adobe and Zildjian.
I'd like to take this moment to remind everyone that the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
I was talking to Bill,
You messed up my name again.
I was talking to Ben last night, partially when I was really drunk, but we were talking about
Bill, I mean Ben, you just keep doing that back and forth. Like, you didn't say a whole lot.
I'm talking to him, I'm just talking to the wall.
Talking to a lamppost, because it's tall and skinny.
We were talking about like endorsements and stuff, and he was talking about how he would want a mallet endorsement.
Oh yeah.
And Colby, you know Colby?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he comes up and he's like, I'd like to be endorsed by condoms. And he's like, and like a stick or something. And he'd be like, yep, you'd go up to your first day of school and be like, all right, here are your sticks, and I'm required to give you these condoms. Like, practice safe sex, guys.
And fired.
Get endorsed by Trojan.
Yeah.
Just be like, don't just have sex, have the best sex, like me. He's so good at it. We endorsed him.
Don't forget to wrap your stick. It's like an innovative stick.
And both sponsorships are pulled immediately. It's like inappropriate use of a condom and inappropriate use of a mallet. Done.
I mean, Vic Firth stick or mallet.
I prefer the pepper grinders.
So
one day when we're all famous singers, this will all be just
Singers?
a distant.
Why are we all gonna
can
be
we
famous
just
singers?
say all the brand names that we're saying? Is that okay? I don't know. I guess if this podcast ever got endorsed, we wouldn't be able to as much. But
We'll just take this one down when that happens.
Unless I become endorsed, then I can say everything I've been saying.
Of course, actually, this one will come down anyway because SoundCloud only lets you have 3 hours of content at any given time for free. We would have to pay for an unlimited account to have all of them up there. And that's
did you say iTunes accepted it though?
iTunes accepted it, but it's only pulled. I don't know if it'll keep storing them or anything. I think it just ends up pulling from when you submit it to iTunes. You submit an RSS feed link,
Right.
and so I think it's actually stored with SoundCloud. So I think we're gonna have a scrolling library until we get some money together and pay SoundCloud some money.
There is
in January if we're still doing this.
Yeah.
I know there's a way to, like, there's several different places you can host podcasts. I'm pretty sure there's a way where you could have all of them for free.
I mean, well,
but I'm not sure.
I could call my friend Alex and say we need to take our domain name that we both own and allocate some storage for the podcast and pull from there. But it's just a lot of work. I mean, I'm right now.
Oh no, I think there's like actual free services. You could do that. But.
I don't know, but I mean, each podcast is around 100 megabytes. And so each listen is a use of that. So it's a lot of bandwidth.
Right.
Not as much as video, but still a lot. So right now we basically have a scrolling library. So we've got 2 and 3 are up. When we put this one up, it's going to knock 2 down. You'll have 3 and 4. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's not.
Well, I guess as long as I'm assuming you're keeping them all somewhere.
Also,
yes, so they're still kept
locally
on SoundCloud. And I keep them locally and I have them backed up to Google Drive too.
Also, I should probably get those from you, and we can just add them on YouTube and put that on our Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
You could do that. Yeah, you could.
Yeah, you've got the MP3s through
Could just do a
Drive.
YouTube podcast too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, I know there's multiple services though. I just can't think of them right now, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But
Let's talk about how we're doing the podcast on the podcast.
That was the first 2 episodes.
yeah. No, the first episode was me telling the audience all the podcasts I listened to.
Yeah.
And a lot of my
listen to this one.
Let's see.
and every
You listen to, I'm going to guess some of them.
Rooster
The
Teeth.
Nerdist.
not anymore.
Oh, okay. Rooster Teeth podcast.
Yes.
The Patch.
Yes.
Let's see. Well, when it was up. Oh my god, I forgot the name.
The Internet Box.
Yeah, you're good at that, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Ooh, the Internet Box.
Internet Box. That's what it was.
I'm on my third listen through in my car. That's all I listen to in the car
Yeah. I've noticed that. That's not a bad thing though. It's a really good podcast.
until the chauffeur takes the car away and it's on the racist part of the podcast.
Let's see. Do you listen to? I forget what it's called, but Felicia Days.
I don't.
Okay, I was just curious. I'm running out of guesses. Do you listen to any Kevin Smith's podcasts?
No.
You listen to Smodcast?
That's also his podcast.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna throw it out there too.
Basically,
I don't know. I'm out.
any of Rooster Teeth's properties I listen to.
Oh, what's Sports Ball? You listen to Sports Ball?
No.
It's sports. It doesn't do that.
But I listen to Dude Soup, and then
Oh yeah, Dude Soup.
right now I'm listening to
Dude Soup's really good.
a lot of the Game Over Greggy show, Greg Miller's thing.
Yeah, Game Over.
Because they split off from IGN, and they're still doing that.
Kind of funny.
Yeah.
Doesn't yeah.
Yeah. And then one I like now, Rob Paulson, he's a voice actor, does the voice for Pinky on Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
He has a podcast. I'm listening to that. So like the first episode I listened to him was him and then a bunch of voice actors in anime. And so it's like Stephen Bloom.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. I've looked at some voice actors and added their podcasts to my list. So. Yeah.
And that's what I listen to when I'm working, driving a clapped out Crown Vic around the city of Lubbock, writing up people for weeds and rubbish in the alleys and on their lawns. But yeah, that's what I listen to all day.
Cool. You guys can't see, but Jacob is demonstrating the proper use of a shake weight. Wait, what you got on that topic list over there?
A fuck ton. If you pull it out, we're gonna have a 3-hour podcast, like guaranteed.
I can bring up some of the older ones. What's your current car and what's your dream car?
My current car is a Mitsubishi Lancer.
Do they even make
Mitsubishis anymore?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Saturn?
Saturn.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
The logos.
No, yeah,
just the same.
it's been good. It gets pretty good gas mileage. I got it used, paid for it in cash, so it's been nice.
You didn't put it on your credit card?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
Do you have a credit card?
I do. I have 2 credit cards.
Oh, I don't.
I don't really use them. One of them's completely paid off. One of them I still have a little bit more, but I don't use them very often.
Yeah. One I used to pay off the other one, and then I just go back and forth.
I just keep paying them back off.
Has anyone seen? It's an
That
episode-
actually that kind of works though.
It does if you do it right, but if you do it wrong, you're getting a shitload of trouble.
Yeah.
Basically, there's an episode of C Lab 2021. Has anyone here seen that show? No. It was an old Adult Swim show. One of the episodes, the Captain Murphy, gets a credit card, and he goes on a spending spree, and then someone explains to him that it's not just free money, so it's like it's a wide shot of the C Lab. He's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I had to get a new credit card semi recently.
We're talking personal finances here.
Oh, yeah.
On the pod. Dead air.
Discover It. Highly recommend it. Good credit card. Good rewards program.
Oh my god.
And fuck endorsements everywhere.
Plugging everything. But no, my dream car probably... Okay, well, are you thinking like dream car like if you bought a new car or like just any car?
Whatever
yeah.
your fucking dream
It's not.
car is.
It's not just one. Like I remember, I said my dream car ranges from like
fucking
a steam tractor I have to keep maintaining. This is Derek, who was my roommate and watched me get really interested in like antique gasoline engines and steam engines for a while. I still watch this one YouTube channel where he restores model steam engines, and then up to something really complex like a McLaren P1.
Oh, speaking of which, did I ever tell you that I went on is like one of the only remaining in operation steamboats? I went on a steamboat when I was in New Orleans. It was really cool. They had the whole the engine room open.
Yeah.
So like you could go and see every little part and how it all worked and everything while they're like maintaining it.
Yeah.
Obviously they had things like railed off so you don't
get decapitated.
Yeah, because you very well could.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. Like it worked very well. Like, I mean, obviously it's not as efficient as a lot of modern engines. Otherwise we would still be using them.
Exactly.
But it's really cool. Anyway, back to my dream car. My dream car would
My
be...
dream car is a steamboat.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
My dream car would be probably a 1968 Corvette Stingray convertible.
Oh. A high five has just taken place.
Was that yours?
Yeah.
Nice. That's my dream car. If I could get one of those, like, refinished, refurbished, all that kind of
Restored.
stuff. Yeah, restored. That's the word I'm looking for.
If you ever find one that's kind of shitty, I have a cousin that does that as a business.
Oh, really?
So I'm sure he'll hook it up with a good price.
I love that body style.
Yeah.
I love that car.
I remember how controversial it was when it first fucking came out because of all the changes.
Like 30 years before you were born.
Yeah, it's like I remember back.
I remember the good old days.
Back in my day, we used to drive a rock to work.
Just found out Jacob's secretly a Time Lord.
I hate all of you. Not our listeners.
Exterminate!
We're talking Doctor Who today. On the podcast.
Talking everything today.
Okay. So anyway, you have a good closing topic.
Do we?
I'm probably gonna call my son Avitus.
You fucking dork.
You dork?
Yeah.
That's what you call me?
Yeah.
One of my, and I know this is dumb, but one of my big modern dream cars would be just the new Stingray because it looks pretty sweet.
Dude, we were like, I can't believe you don't know my name. We had the same fucking answer.
I know your name. I forgot it once. God.
Yeah, I'm just weird. It would be like a kit car, like a Caterham something that like arrives in crates and you put it together and then you race it. That would be my thing.
You're just like you want to order like a Pinewood Derby set,
But real life size.
and then drive it,
And
Yep.
then, with an engine and shit.
Yeah.
No windscreen or air conditioning, though. Just like on Top Gear.
Is that what? Is that why you got that truck or whatever?
Yes. That was during student teaching. I needed something to not absolutely hate my life and kill myself. So I said, I'm going to bring back my little... I got that when I was like 13.
Yeah.
No, that's when I got my drum set. When the fuck did I got that when I was 16? Because my sister got a shotgun, but I got that.
Yeah, you see, I think the sister's more manly than Bill.
It's possible. She's got hairier arms than I do.
Fucking dick.
Wow.
I fucking love your sister.
Didn't you say she was?
got.
Didn't you say she was gonna listen to this eventually?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe I'll make her listen to it because since we mentioned her right at the end.
I mean, she's gorgeous. I don't know why you're
Stop
so
being
into
so
your
damn
sister.
weird about it.
Dude, she's a beautiful girl.
Okay.
All I'm saying is she's beautiful.
She's married, you know.
Yeah, it's a shame.
God damn it. Actually, she's in Texas right now. She's back home visiting a friend for a wedding.
Yeah, you don't think I see her Facebook
Oh
posts?
my God, you're following.
Well, she added me on Facebook.
I have no idea if I'm
That was
friends
her
with
first
or not.
mistake.
She might have added me, but
Probably.
I never get on Facebook.
I mean, my mom asked about you, so so my sister probably added you too. I don't know why they asked me. I don't know. I'll keep up with you. I'm not a keeper.
It's like I text them occasionally some dank memes.
God damn it.
What? I wasn't paying attention to you guys.
Your friend Derek sent me this sad frog. I believe it's named Pepe. He said it was very rare Pepe. Wow. I didn't know they could be rare. I found out about the Pepe market and Pepe coin. Okay. That's
Yeah, I sent her some green tech stories, things like that. She loves 4chan.
gross.
Are we still talking about your sister here?
Are we?
I don't
I think
know.
we're talking about my mom,
I think he
actually.
was talking about his mom. Yeah,
Oh,
but no.
hey, his mom's a nice lady too. She's very nice
she
to
is
us.
nice.
She donated $20 to my Race for the Cure event.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Hey, you got a good family, Bill.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs. If I had more thumbs, I'd put them up.
Who has
put-
2 thumbs and a family? This guy. That was shitty. No, it's funny when you both met my family. We both had the same things. Like, wow, they're really nice. And there's that long pause that just kind of implies, what happened to you? Because
that's kind of, no. It's not because of that. It's not like the nice thing.
It's the warm and outgoing. It's extroversion versus my extreme introversion.
Right. You're actually a lot better than you used to be.
Yeah.
When I first met Bill,
had you met me in first year of college, you wouldn't recognize me.
Yeah, like Bill was very introverted naturally.
I am wound very tight.
But his family is like the polar opposite.
I am the tension.
But it's all right.
Yeah. No, family's sister's a...
I know what we can end on.
What?
Let's talk about this hurricane that's
coming.
Oh,
boy! Get to talk about the weather, guys.
We're talking weather today.
This is right up my alley. My tornado alley. I'm sorry.
It's a hurricane!
Yay!
So here's the thing. Hurricane...
Is my family gonna die?
Where does your family live?
Part of Mexico.
What part of Mexico?
Is my family gonna die?
No.
Okay.
I mean, eventually, but not right now.
I just want to know how severe it is. I'm not worried about my family in Mexico at all. No, they're not in that area of where it's going to hit.
Right? Okay, here's the thing.
They're in Mexico. I can't put them on the mind.
Hurricane Katrina hit Category 5. It downgraded to a Category 3 when it hit landfall. This one downgraded to I think it was still a Category 5 when it hit. If you extrapolate the wind speed on the hurricane scale, not the damage. The scale is based on damage, but if you extrapolate wind speed linearly, it would be a Category 7. But the hurricane scale is based on damage, so a Category 5 is the most damaging storm there is, so it doesn't make sense to expand it in that case. So if you compare the two storms, Hurricane Patricia is much bigger. It was a surprise to the meteorological community because it was a tropical storm like 36 hours ago, or like 48 hours ago. And it got up to Category 5 very quickly. That's unusual. That doesn't happen. It hit a very warm patch of water, probably due to El Nino, and it just skyrocketed into a very powerful storm with not gust, but sustained winds of 200 miles an hour.
Wow.
Jesus.
So that is a Category 5...
So is this just kind of fucking...
So it's an EF5 tornado that is 7 miles wide.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. I don't know much about what damage has been done yet. I saw some reports from the west side of the storm, which is the weaker side. We still have to be concerned about storm surge, but that area of Mexico is kind of mountainous, so they're going to be okay. And the mountains in Mexico are going to dissipate that storm, because hurricanes going from is that the Atlantic? I should know my oceans, but I don't. But sometimes they could cross over Mexico into the Gulf. That's very rare, and that probably won't happen. But when I first saw the news of how powerful it was, I thought, this is going to kill a lot of people, and we're going to see a lot of refugees. However, I don't know the extent of the damage yet. It seemed like some of the people are doing okay. But I think in that area, you've got some poorer parts of Mexico where it's not even fortified housing. It's like mud huts in places.
Right.
So
is this largely hitting... I haven't been following with it at all. I've kind of been...
If think about the western side of Mexico, kind of in the middle.
Okay. So it's like largely hitting Mexico. It's not going to hit a lot of Texas.
No, I mean it's a big enough and powerful storm that it's going to push weather events into Texas. Like remember, we're still...
Is it going to fucking rain a lot now?
Not where we are.
Okay.
Probably, but you remember all the rain we had? How big a deal that was.
Yeah.
It's squeezing that in Texas. That's why you're getting 10 inches of rain in Austin.
Right.
Which is a shitload of rain. So it's going to keep changing that rain event as well and kind of extrapolate how bad that can be. Basically, if that storm was as powerful as they thought it was, I think it actually weakened a little. But I mean, if Katrina was a Category 3, then this thing landing at a Category 5 or a Category 4 is a problem. So
yeah.
And I don't know much about Mexico, but I don't know if the United States handled Katrina as poorly as they did, it's possible Mexico could handle it poorly as well. I don't know.
I wanted to make a joke, but it's not going to go on the podcast.
Yeah, it's probably going to be bad.
Yeah, it's probably...
I mean, like you said, Hurricane Katrina wasn't the best handle.
But isn't like
but
New
it
Orleans
could,
like this?
New Orleans is below sea level, and the levees breaking are what really contributed to the damage. However, it wasn't just New Orleans that had a heap of trouble from that. It was all the states east of it that also had trouble. And so that's the strong side of the storm anyway. We haven't heard anything from those parts of Mexico yet, or at least I haven't. So, like, usually where they tell you it's going to hit, I don't remember what city it was, but that's where the eye's going to hit. That's not the center of damage. It's east of that where the storm is turning into it. That's the problem. And then the west side, you have some of that, but also storm surge. So I think it's going to be a big deal. I think it's 2005 was a really heavy-duty hurricane season. If this is any indication, this might be another one, but we're kind of late in the season, I think. I think the season concludes in like February, something like that.
January.
I don't remember when the season concludes, but it's going to be rough. I don't think the areas are as low-lying as New Orleans, but it's still going to be an issue because it's a very, very strong storm. It broke records and at a time was one of the most powerful storms recorded on Earth. So, yeah. Basically, and it's if it passed over you, your ears would pop from how low the pressure got. The pressure under it is like being in an airplane. So it's ridiculous.
Well, The Walking Dead. Does anybody watch that?
I've seen the first season.
I played the games.
Yeah, I played the games too. They're both really good.
Yeah.
I really like that show, and
When they run.
just now caught up.
Yeah, that was
I
really enjoyed those games.
I'm developing a problem with Telltale.
I'm having a problem with you. I also have another story.
Okay. Let's start with the Telltale problem.
Yeah.
This needs to kind of wrap it up because I got to get going pretty soon.
Yeah,
you
me
do.
too. Like,
Oh, it's 137.
yeah.
We've been going for a while.
Okay, so in short, their games are good, but they're buggy as shit. They don't run well on consoles. They don't run well on PC, and maybe
They run better on Xbox One, but I don't know how that compares to PC.
yeah. Well,
Better on Xbox One than they did on 360 for sure. 360 was real buggy.
oh yeah. Basically, and then it's just me getting tired of the genre of the choose your own adventure, where the tropes.
Yeah,
are
I have to space it out because if I just go on a big Telltale spree, just playing all their games, they're all really good. But if you don't space it out, you will get tired of that genre, or at least I will. Maybe not everybody, but
All right. So that's my portion done.
go, Jacob, go.
Does anyone have
Why
any?
don't you fucking respond to my messages when I send you links?
Because I've seen them before.
Then tell me something. Acknowledge the fact that you've seen it.
You'd be upset with how often that happens.
I don't care. It's better than sending it to you and being like, well, what the fuck's his problem?
So when you tag me that picture that's like, Bill sees this, blah, blah, blah.
No, not even that. Like when I physically send you a text message and send you shit.
Are you sending this during work hours when I'm working?
No! I was working.
Well, there's your problem. I knew you were working, so I didn't respond.
The picture of like that drum set I sent you with the fucking lug, like the one on mine that I thought was retarded.
Oh, we had already talked about that.
Yeah, but I'm showing you that it's everywhere now.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
And then I fucking sent you that link.
You've got to use like YouTube thumbnail logic on me. If it doesn't look interesting or doesn't grab my attention, I'm not gonna.
Does it got time?
If I'm sending it to you, it's obviously because I think you're gonna like it. And you don't.
And
It bothers me that now I feel like you didn't even fucking watch it.
Sometimes, okay.
I don't care about Facebook shit. I don't care if you look or don't look at that. But if I take the time to fucking send you a message, that's a lot more steps than fucking putting share and BI to share it to you.
I have this thing when people tell me that they think I'm gonna like it, I immediately don't like it and don't look at it. I'm serious. Like, if someone recommends something to me, Ian did this a lot. He would say like, yeah, I think you'd like it. I will not touch it.
I don't say you'll like this. I send you a fucking snarky little fucking comment so that you can watch it. Because it's funny as hell because it's gonna make you laugh.
Yeah, but something about the daunting task of opening the link and watching the video and waiting it for get to the punchline, those like 15 seconds are agonizing, and I don't want
The whole video was punchlines.
Oh, really?
It was hilarious.
It's not possible, Jacob. It's not.
It was hilarious.
Just get to the other side. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?
It was his sled.
It didn't make any sense. It was just punchlines.
The last 8 minutes was just a line for punch. That one's meta, man.
Watch the damn video.
Fine,
So-
I'll...
You guys want to end it there?
Yes, I just didn't want to end it all sad.
Oh, yeah, it does kind of
Talking
suck
about
to end it on. Yeah, this hurricane's probably going to kill
You
me.
can probably cut that out. I was just curious.
No, I'll leave it in. Remember, all the cutting out's going to happen at the first half of the podcast, where all the shit that was said that needs to get cut out. This one, like, pretty standard among all the podcasts. The back half is, like, hardly touched in the editing bay. I just make sure there's an end point and then render it to that point.
I forgot to do that on the very first video I put up. Did you notice that it's like 7 minutes long?
So what do you do at the end? Do you have an outro?
No,
No, we usually just say bye.
Okay.
just end it there.
All right. To all our listeners that have joined us today, thank you, Derrik, for joining us.
And-
You're never coming back on this.
Good.
Well, it was fun while it
I'll get my
lasted.
own podcast with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the podcast.
I like boiling denim and banging whores.
And bye. Oh my god.
We get twitchy and stuff.
That he means they stream on Twitch. I don't know why I said that.
Get twitchy with it.
We get twitchy. We go tubing for you.
Keep it going.
We send out carrier pigeons that tweet.
Come on. You're not done.
That's all I've got. Oh, sometimes we roll down hills. We like to call it our little tumbler missions.
God damn it.
You haven't done the blue website yet. This one.
And then sometimes we look through old family albums. My family calls it a Facebook. I don't know what other people call it. We don't actually take full family pictures. It's just close-ups of our faces.
I think some people refer to that as a selfie.
Jesus Christ.
That's very good. I'm very
Wow. I forgot what Derek was like. Now I remember.